right, everybody. Well, let's jump into it. Coming to you from Dublin, Ireland. He's a podcaster and has been involved with archery for over 5 years. He's a World Bowhunting Champion of 2019. He took third place in European Bowhunting Championship in 2018. He's Irish 3D Bowhunting Champion from 2015 to 2020. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Ger Eady. How you doing?
I'm doing good, but you're blowing smoke up me at the moment. Thank you very much for inviting me on. You were saying before when you messaged me, you're a big archery fan yourself.
I am, yes. I love the sport of archery hunting here in Pennsylvania in the United States, man. We love to deer hunt up here, and I love it, man. I read your profile and I saw that you're into archery, and I was hoping you could talk a little bit about that, kind of about how you got into archery and maybe a little bit about the history of the sport.
Absolutely, if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
What
first got you into it?
It's a story as old as men themselves. It's a father-son relationship. So the reason I got into archery was my father. He used to do airsoft. He got a bit old for it, and he's thinking, geez, 40 something, and I'm running around shooting BBs at lads. What am I doing? So he moves on. A friend just got out of it, and that was the reason he was thinking that way. So they both try archery. Now, the other guy has to bring his kids just so the wife lets him go. You know the story. My dad realized, oh God, I'm after the same. So eventually the friend drops out. My dad's like, just spent all this money on bows. There is no effing way. Can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely. Be yourself, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. You're a king for that. It's just some guys don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, he's like, no fucking way. I'm getting rid of all this gear after just buying it. So, of course he brings me into it. And I just kind of went from there. I started off shooting a really terrible, like 3-piece recurve bow, maybe 18 pounds, moved up to 28 fairly fast once realizing this is ridiculous. I've been shooting ever since. And the whole family got involved after, because once they seen he was having fun, they were like, that's too much. Let's get the whole gang involved.
Right, for sure. So I see you do a lot of like the 3D archery and stuff. Do you go out? Do you like to hunt as well? Do you like to hunt wild game, or are you more of like the sport, riding horseback type style, or like what style do you prefer?
Well, I shoot a style of bow called bear bow. Grab it now if you want. But yeah, before I grab it real quick. Yeah, bow hunting is illegal in Ireland, so unfortunately, I don't get to practice it. But I have every intention of doing it in the States.
Really, I did not know that. Really, Do you guys have any kind of hunting allowed at all, or just?
Yeah, rifle hunting, but hunting laws in Ireland are weird, man. They are set up in a way where it's not cost effective. So, like that's the reason most people would hunt. It's cheaper.
Right.
It is a bit of fun, in fairness, but like. The way it's done in Ireland nowadays, it's just a bunch of rich lads in a country club kind of thing, going off and shooting maybe 2 deer between the 10 of them and then calling it a day,
Right, for sure. Sure. So you said you shoot a bear bow?
Bear bow. Now, bear as in like not the animal. Bear as in it's been stripped bare. There's nothing on it.
So okay, like a longbow.
Kind of. 1 second now.
Yeah. Come on, get down, Elsa.
Bear with me here. So, all right, there we go. Here we are now. This is a bear bow. It's made by a company called Spigarelli in Italy. So you were picturing a longbow, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit away from a longbow. So what the story is here is it's a bow missing any attachments you might see in the Olympics. It's literally just some weights, the bow, and a kind of a little rest to shoot off. You can have a button. The button's taken off at the moment. But yeah, that's what I shoot. I got sponsored by this company. I fucking love the guys. They are unreal. And another one I got was this company called Arcor, and they make these custom grips. And oh my God,
That's freaking awesome. I've never seen it
like,
like
like
that before.
like anything, dude, if you want to be good at it, you need the best shit.
For sure, dude. I
I've, I've
completely
been
understand.
around to experiment, you know?
Yep, that's freaking awesome. How often do you shoot a week? How often do you go out and keep the
Dude,
reflexes in
I'm
tune?
out because of lockdown in Ireland and how strict it is. I've been out of the game for about 8 months.
Oh wow,
And it's, dude, I live in like a neighborhood.
yeah,
So I got like these tiny fences between our houses. And you don't want to shoot an arrow through that and hit someone's dog.
yeah, no doubt.
And even at that, I can only practice 17 yards. The max I shoot is about 80. So I don't really get much practice. I could be the best guy in the world at 17 yards, or I could be safe and be a good neighbor.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
besides I do strength training. I try to keep up with like what's going on in bow culture, I guess. But before that, man, oh my God, before this whole shenanigans, I was out and I was training all the fucking time, every single weekend, and at least once a day midweek.
For sure.
What about you, dude?
Dude, it's been a while since I've shot my bow. It's been, a couple months now. Um, but I want to get it's spring's coming around and I really kind of want to get out in the woods and kind of start getting the area ready for archery season in the fall, because it's been a couple years since I've actually been out archery hunting. I've going through
Hmm.
some personal things and this year I really want to get back into it, because I remember the first time I killed a deer with a bow, and I got to tell you, man, it's a
It's something.
crazy it's a crazy experience. Yeah, man, it's really it's wild. But
I tell you what, when you're getting ready to start go out shooting, send me some videos and I'll check out your form and see how you're shooting. Make sure
okay,
you're doing it right.
I appreciate that, man. I'll absolutely do that for
I
sure.
re- I hope you stick to it because I like look, bow hunting is crazy in the first place, but then missing, oh my God, like how often does a deer even show up? You
Right.
want to be creme de la creme when you're shooting that there.
For sure. Yeah. And when that deer came out, it was the last day of archery, and it came out and I was worried because I'd never shot at a deer before with my bow, and I was like, am I, I did all this practice. Am I going to be able to, am I going to miss it? I'm worried I'm going to miss it. And my instincts just totally kicked in. And I was just like, I dropped it. Didn't even take a step forward. It just came around the tree. I lined up and just let her fly, dude. And she just straight down.
I take it from the way you did this, you're shooting the compound.
I am. Yep. I shoot a bear
Yeah,
bow. Yep. Like the,
a bear
yeah,
barebow compound.
bear. Yeah. It's not the
Yeah.
greatest, but it's, it does what I need to do as far as hunting purposes go.
Look, it got you the deer, man.
Yeah.
Now I know you're a big like spiritual guy.
Yeah.
So how did that play in for you? Like, killing this deer. But
Uh,
what kind of experience was that like for you?
uh, you know, I look at it because ancestral ways, like it's the cycle of life. You know what I mean? I don't do it to, hang a trophy on the wall, man. Like we harvest the meat. Like I love deer meat and stuff like that. And there is a spiritual side to that. You know what I mean? With the Native Americans, I have a little bit of Native American in me and myself, not a whole lot, but I have ancestors, and I just, I feel like that ties in with our ancestral ways of
Hmm.
the earth. So, but I
Look,
don't
the way I justify it is the deer had a better life than a cow in a field.
for sure.
Uh,
Absolutely.
the other way it was going to die out there is it's going to starve to death or get eaten alive. So
That's the thing, man. Yeah,
you doing that, you really did it a favor overall.
for sure.
And
Yeah.
if you're doing it right, you're helping the population there because you kind of want to go for the older ones.
Right. Yeah, I do. And then once I experienced that, killing that deer with that bow, and really, like rifle hunting now, like I really have no desire to do it because here in the States, rifle season 2 weeks, it's just everybody running around. You can't sit down in the woods for more than 15 minutes without seeing somebody, whereas
It could get
archery,
dangerous, man. That could
can
get
get
really
dangerous. Yeah,
dangerous.
it can get dangerous, but it's just a simple fact. I like to go in the woods and not see anybody. I like to experience the peace of it and be in nature.
Yeah.
So there's that
There's something
aspect
so
of
human about that moment, though.
it, for sure. Absolutely. You know, but
Mm.
I've been wanting to get into like shooting a longbow. I've never shot a longbow either, you know.
As in Native American or English?
You know what? I really don't really know the difference. Could you
Well, one has a shelf, one doesn't. So you can shoot the arrow off. It's a
Like
shelf.
I'm thinking the piece of wood with just like a string, you know?
Okay, that would be English. If it was a Native American one, it has a shelf to keep the arrow on. Without that, you're shooting off your hand. So you make your own shelf out of your knuckle, basically.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. I've always want to learn how to shoot one of those, you know. I always thought it was cool. They're like, just, you know,
Oh, amazing.
it is amazing. And
Oh,
some of
what's
the
even cooler,
accuracy,
man?
if you've seen any of the videos where like people throw rings up in the air and like shoot them through like a ring and
If you're thinking of the guy who does that, the famous guy who does that, I've interviewed that guy. His name is James Jean.
no
He's a
kidding.
really, really good guy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh, I think he just did a show. He did a show with like some celebrities recently because he's just that well known for the shooting. Man, he's legit. Like some people like kind of call him out, but he's like, yeah, I just did that shot. It took me 50 tries. I recorded 50 takes, but I did it. You know, he is awesome.
That's cool. So you had him on your show, your podcast.
Yeah. Off of the Irish podcast, shameless plug. Look, I've interviewed 207 people now. No, I know I've interviewed 160 people, 200 episodes.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
really good. That's really good. And you're still making content, you're still interviewing people and stuff, or you kind of
Dude,
set
I did it today. I had a guy on from Gold Rush just to have a chat.
right.
You know, uh, I have voice actors on, I have actors, blah blah blah. But yeah, I guess there's more to me than a podcast. So you know,
For sure.
that's one thing.
For sure. So can you get into the history a little bit of archery? You know, your take on the history of it, and uh, just kind of go into that a little bit. You
Well,
know,
not really sure where it all started. I know like they found bows as far back as they could possibly go. Like you know,
right, beginning of
they,
time type stuff.
they've been around since God was a boy, as they say. No, they've had bows forever, man. And they've I made you laugh there.
Right.
Yeah, seriously, like it's a technology that's evolved independently among so many different civilizations, and it's just one thing that I guess if you get a hold of it, you kind of know what to do with it.
Right. For sure.
Like even see you put a bow in the hand of a kid, they nearly know what to do to it. And there's this whole style of archery called instinctive archery, which believes that it's in our genetics. Like like a dog knows to cock its leg when it pees.
Right.
They think like there's some kind of instinct in there that with humans when it comes to bows, it's just been there so long. But yeah,
Like
the
passed
whole
down through like generational, like
they think because it
like
evolved separately
reflexes
so
or
many
something.
times,
You know,
they think it might be like in your genes somewhere to know something about archery.
that's pretty cool, man. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I think,
Um,
like with like the longbows, like how a lot of people are just so talented they could just like pull back. Because with a longbow, isn't it? You don't hold it back like a recurve. You just like pull and you release. You
I,
just
I
let
think
her rip.
I think you're thinking of like a Mongol bow, like Genghis Khan, the boys would have used. Is that
Oh,
what you're thinking of?
like the samurais. There must be so many different bows that.
Yeah.
Like
The longbow is like a D-shaped bow.
yeah,
The other one I think you're thinking of is more like S-shaped. It was used by like the Mongols. That's how they got as far as they did. A horseback archery back in the day. What can defeat that? Nothing. There was
right,
nothing that could take that on. That's why they went from all as far as Korea to Finland
right.
in like what 50 years. They did something crazy with that. But yeah, man. Bows and arrows, man. They were so dominant for a reason. And even when guns like were first around, militaries that had some decked out archers, they kept them around. They still kept them around until like guns were like universal and
Right.
super easy, you know? Yeah, like the English longbowmen, like back in the day, they were pulling back, hundreds of pounds on their bows. Like nowadays, I shoot 30, 38. I don't know what you shoot in your compound, but they would put back 100 pounds on their fingers, like, and the only reason I know about that is because if they examined the skeletons of these guys and they noticed like, bones being gnawed away from all the pressure. Yeah,
Ah,
that's freaky.
I shoot like 70, 75 pounds.
Yeah, but you got to let off on your thing, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a handy thing. That's a handy invention.
It really is. It really is. Some of these new bows that I'm seeing, some of these new Matthews and Hoyts
Yeah.
that if they're just unreal, man. They're just absolutely unreal.
Mm.
In Ireland, do you have a lot of people that are into like crossbows, or is it like
Another thing that's illegal in Ireland is crossbows.
really
Yeah.
interesting? That's so interesting. Okay, so
Well, Ireland's like a state that has no weapons. Like not even our police have weapons, so it's kind of like a
really,
you live with it. It's fine.
yeah,
Because
for
like
sure.
when I see like issues with like American gun policy, whatever,
Hmm.
I say keep them always because the only other option is take everything away.
Right, for sure.
It's either everyone can have something or no one can have anything, and that's the only way you keep people safe.
Dude, I
You know,
completely agree. You know what I
if
mean?
it,
And
they got
that
they
may
got
be, that may be a whole nother discussion, because I'm totally into that. We can talk about whatever you want. But that's crazy. I
yeah,
didn't know that like crossbows were illegal over there.
it's a weird one. Europeans are pretty weird,
Yeah.
especially with the things they ban. That's why I love you guys. It's just freedom and fucking eagles.
Yeah, yeah, we're trying over here, man. We're definitely trying, just to keep our freedom. But
Power to you.
so
But just one last thing with the archery, like in historic terms. Like when you put two fingers up, it means fuck you, right?
I
When
did
you
not
do
know
this
that.
symbol, you ever see this symbol? Someone
No.
does that to you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, back during like the 100 Year War, they would do that to French archers because when the French got the English archers, they chop off their two fingers so they couldn't pull back a bow because you
Huh,
pull back a bow like that
right.
sometimes. And the whole idea was come get it.
Huh. That's so
Yeah, and
interesting.
these people still use that today.
Really?
Mm.
Just like
Yeah,
a peace sign.
a reverse peace sign. Yeah,
Reverse peace sign. That's crazy. I did not know that.
but yeah, it's a complex history, and even in Ireland, like back in the day, the Celts wouldn't use bows because they seen them as a coward's weapon, and that's why we got invaded so easily.
Right. Huh.
Yeah, yeah. That
So,
didn't work out for us. Didn't work out for us.
no, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of sport archery people that are into the sport in Ireland, or is it kind of like is it more of,
It's grown. I think it's going to shrink because of COVID, but
right,
it'll grow again. Um, I'm heavily involved in it in Ireland. It's growing. The only barrier is the cost of bows, really.
right.
And realistically, like you get for $100 in the States, probably get an okay bow. But in Europe, because there's so few like making them, and the quality isn't really there, 100 euro bow. Do you really want that, or do you want to save up? And then that's what keeps people away. Because then it's like it's $4 per arrow. You break an arrow one day, you're like, oh, there goes €4. You know,
Yep. Yep.
so
Something
it's kind of a money thing. Keeps people away from the sport.
for sure. You could pick a used bow up over here for a couple $100. I shoot a cheap bow, but it's killed deer, and that's all I really needed to do.
It works. It
It
works.
worked, or you could spend, $1,500 on a Matthews or a Hoyt, and those things are just totally decked out, and that's just stripped. That's not with sights or anything on it, and it can just
Mhm.
get super pricey, but you know
Realistically, like, does it really matter?
this is the way I look at it, dude. If you find what you're passionate about and you just get into it, you know what I mean? And like the price almost doesn't really matter at that point, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but even with anything, like, you can find like there's like a really expensive version and there's like the average version.
yeah,
Even
you
with
can pay
water, there's
for it.
this $1,000 water.
Right.
You know, the
Dude, that's
VR
crazy.
headsets
Yeah.
like behind me, cameras. You know,
Yep.
like there's hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know,
Right.
cameras, podcasting mics.
Right. I thought so. What do you talk about on your podcast? Just strictly archery stuff, or is it?
No, it's called the Awfully Irish Podcast. We used to be three people, now we're two. And we chat to. It's kind of like celebrity interviews. Like we've had like the likes of Charles Baker from Breaking Bad. We've
Really?
had
That's cool.
we've had nearly the entire cast of Call of Duty Cold War. Uh, I have comedians like you ever see that guy real life Peter Griffin? We had him on.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's a character. I love him. But we kind of just have all kinds of people we find interesting. Like we had a guy from Gold Rush today because I think gold mining is cool. And then we had a reptile expert planned to have on, but he's going to be on like Wednesday instead. Blah blah blah.
That's awesome. That's super cool. And you said it's called. I'm gonna write it down real quick. It's called the Awfully. Did you say the Awfully Irish or
Awfully Irish podcast?
Awfully Irish.
And I'll tell you why it's called the Awfully Irish podcast. Because I'm from a part of Ireland called Offaly, but it's spelled differently. And we just thought we were like, we gotta call ourselves an Awful Irish podcast or Awfully Irish podcast. And if you're from Ireland, that works. But considering most of our viewers are like in the States, doesn't really land as well.
Right.
How about yours, man? Like you're into like talking about cryptocurrencies. You're talking about spirituality. What do you think of AMC at the moment? Holy fuck.
Honestly, I don't follow the stock market. I don't really care about the stock market just because it's rigged, dude. It's so rigged. And, I think cryptocurrency is to a certain extent just from selling and buying, but.
You a Dogecoin fan?
Nope, I'm not, because it's a fake cryptocurrency, dude. It's, are you into cryptos at all? Or are you?
I tell you what, I bought Doge at its peak. But then like it reached the number again fairly recently, but I pulled out already. In fairness, I didn't lose much at all. Maybe like
right
€12. I can live with it. It's a nice experiment. But with AMC on the other hand, being a stock, I've actually done okay on AMC, and I have friends who've done way better.
Right.
Like I got in late.
Yeah, I'd never got into the stock. I have friends as well that were talking about the AMC and the GameStop thing, and that whole GameStop thing.
No, GameStop, you pass on that hard. It's a hard pass. That's crazy. That's never going to happen again. AMC is just like a normal stock.
It used to be like $30. So like that's the way I look at it. I feel like that GameStop thing was almost kind of symbolic. It's like, all right, your guys' time of screwing people over is over, and just the word GameStop was just kind of. The synchronicity. It worked, yeah, for sure.
But it's a shame they picked GameStop, because if there's ever like a company that was a dick to its customers, it's them.
Right.
The price they offer you if you try to sell them something, ridiculous.
Dude, it is.
I prefer Walmart. They got some cool stuff in Walmart.
Right.
GameStop is going to charge me. I'm going to give them an Xbox One or like the new Xbox Series X and a PS5, and they'll say $20. Or you can get like a $25 voucher. Get the fuck out of here.
I know, dude. You go in there, you spend $50 on a game, you bring it in the next day, they're like, yeah, we'll give you like $4 short credit. you know?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
For sure. But yeah, the whole, the podcast thing, it just kind of is something I just jumped into, man, out of the blue, and I want to get into all different kinds of topics with all different kinds of people and let people kind of talk about and voice what their passion is, in a little bit. And, kind of let people become comfortable with who they are, dude, because I always felt like I'm a little weird. You know what I mean? I'm into weird stuff, astrology, conspiracy theories, stuff like that. But
when you talk to another podcaster, that's bread and butter.
Right. Yeah.
Like we're on the same page. We're on the same page about nearly everything.
For sure.
Like I was checking you out. I even seen some of your clips. I know. Is it you posting the clips on YouTube or someone posting?
No, it's me. No, it's me.
Yeah. I was checking you out before and I did a bit of research, make sure I wasn't going into some kind of crazy shit. And I was like, okay, this guy's really level-headed. This guy's really cool.
Hey, man, I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
With that symbol behind you,
that is I picked that up at a local head shop downtown. And it's just, I think it's like a Celtic tapestry.
I was going to say, it looks Celtic.
Yeah, it's.
But it's not a Celtic symbol I recognize.
No, I don't know what it is. It's just some kind of, sacred geometry Celtic symbol, I guess. But
yeah, you got any Celt in you?
I do not. Well, my mom,
Irish,
my
Scots,
mom has some Irish in her. Yeah, so I'm not sure percentage wise or what the family history is with that, but I got a lot of Polish in me. got a lot of Polish in me, some Irish, Native American. But
you got the whole shebang.
I got the whole shebang, man. My grandfather sailed over here from Poland, back in like early 1900s. And that's about the extent of my family history.
There's a lot of Polish in Ireland, man.
Is there?
yeah, it became this whole thing of okay, I don't know like how culturally appropriate it is, but like there's this whole idea of like the Polish Irish, and like I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fine. Yeah,
Polish Irish, and they show up and they have like their Polish accents, but they're using Irish slang and Irish lingo,
yeah,
and it sounds ridiculous, but also sounds awesome.
really.
I like the whole Polish Irish thing. Like it's a meme in Ireland. Like there's no one's gonna ever get offended on it in Ireland, at least. But yeah, I can't think of any like safe to say ones that would exist in other cultures, but that happens here, and
Really?
it's a known thing. I got plenty of Polish friends. I've had Polish girlfriends in the past. They're cool people.
Heck
They
yeah.
they they are cool people.
Heck
Same
yeah,
with
man.
Lithuanians who come over here. They're awesome.
Make freaking pierogies and all kind. Have you traveled outside Ireland a lot? Have you traveled much? Or
With archery, absolutely. Okay, okay. I've been to Florida. Been South Dakota. Been to Scotland, Wales, France, Germany, Austria, Hungary,
really?
Greece. Uh, been to Saint Lucia. I've been to a lot of places, man.
That's awesome.
I should have a list, but that's what comes off on the top of my head. Been to Spain as well. Really want to go Portugal. Northern Ireland, obviously. Uh,
Really? So
that's
you've
a
been
it's a
all
different
over the
story.
place. That's pretty cool, man. That's
Well, how
I've
about you? Where you been?
not very far. I live in Pennsylvania. I've been to
Woo!
Maine. The farthest west I've been is Chicago. Not a big fan of Chicago, man. Uh,
I've been.
you've been to Chicago?
I have.
What'd you think of it?
What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
see. I
much
see. I seen all the houses, and I was like, I don't feel safe.
for sure. I was there when I was like 14. I just remember like I was in downtown Chicago and I just like couldn't the air. I was like, yeah, I can't breathe in this city. It's just pollution everywhere. I grew up in the country and just not a big city fan, man, at
There's something
all.
to that though. Like it is a really intimidating place, but why?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Something to do probably with the history, man.
Mhm.
You know, something to do with the history of it. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of crazy history over here, just with,
Well, that's a different story.
that's a different aliens.
You know what? The way Americans like look so negatively on their history, it's kind of weird because everywhere else has had even worse, especially if you're European. Holy fuck! Some of the shit we did over here. Oh
Right.
my god! Like I don't know, like stuff like the Spanish Inquisition. Just the way like the Irish famine, like it was caused by British people just not wanting to feed Irish people. But they'd make them work, they wouldn't feed them. But like we were like less than human to them at the time. Kind of
Right.
like,
Yeah. Because the Irish were enslaved to the English for what, over 500 years or something like that. They're
well, if you some people will get really offended if you say that because the idea of a white slave. But yeah, we got fucked over. Nearly 1,000 years they've been here.
wow.
I got no problem with it though.
Right.
I love English people. I love the UK.
Right.
But yeah, some people are like crazy into it, like the this shit in Northern Ireland. But like that's part of being like we're two islands, we're neighbors basically. The bigger one was going to invade the smaller one eventually.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Is the country
and
beautiful? I mean, the
but
country's obviously beautiful over in Ireland. I've seen
mm,
pictures or whatnot, but
oh, it's nice.
yeah.
You have the castle beside a McDonald's. You always see that picture.
Ri-
Yeah.
Oh man,
Uh,
that's crazy.
so tell me about where you're from. I don't know about that place.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, man.
Where is Pennsylvania? That's like near New York, right?
Yep, but New York, in between New York, Ohio, Lake Erie. I'm up by Lake Erie. It's like the smallest of the Great Lakes over here. And
Um,
yeah, man, Pennsylvania is strange because it could be like you could wake up in the morning, it could be like 10 degrees out and snowing, and then like by afternoon, it's like 75 and people are riding their motorcycles around you. You know what I mean? That's like
mhm.
Pennsylvania in a nutshell, and just highest gas tax in America. But other than that, you know what I mean? It's not bad. There's some cool adventure spots around.
Yeah.
So
And you were saying you got that thing from a hemp shop, right?
uh yeah. No,
Well,
not
what's
really
what's
a
this?
hemp
What's
shop,
this?
but just like a head shop. It's
All right.
like a hippie store. There's all
What's the
kinds of
story with weed, CBD, the whole shebang over there?
Well, in Pennsylvania, it is still illegal. It's legal for medicinal use. You have to get a prescription for it from your doctor.
CBD.
Yeah. Um,
CBD is the same.
for CBD, well, you can get CBD at gas stations, like the cheap crap. You know what I mean? That's overpriced and not effective. But for marijuana itself, it's not legalized in Pennsylvania yet. So
But
recreationally, but medicinally it is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
CBD and
yeah, yeah. I get you. No, it's the same here.
But
But
it's all politics, man. It's just the
it,
politics
what
are
it,
ridiculous
it
over here.
goes back to this one guy like paying off scientists saying it was just fucking crazy. Oh, it caused psychosis and shit. Yeah, and then that spread fucking everywhere. So
Yeah, the whole history on it is ridiculous.
ridiculous.
I'm not 100% familiar with it, but I do know that it is ridiculous, and it's just all politics. That's all it's ever been.
You're absolutely
And
right.
I stepped away from politics a little bit after this last election, and I just was like, man, I got way too emotionally invested in it. Just same with everybody else, because it's just literally everything on the news, dude, is controlled opposition, and it's just bullshit. You know what I mean? Everything. It's a hypnosis spell on the TV, and I stepped away from that, man, because
And you'll never meet these people that the media is trying to make you hate on both sides.
exactly
I've never met some kind of radical liberal who thinks like that we shouldn't have pronouns anymore. We should be like skli sklar, you
right.
know. Uh,
I
I've
have
never met
I
like
have a
crazy.
couple of them, but they're not as many as they'd like you to think. They definitely want you to
Yeah,
think that.
yeah. They want you to think there's a horde of them out there ready to burn down cities and shit.
Right.
Um, yeah.
And they
But then
are.
like even on
There
the
is,
other
but
side,
yeah.
but like for conservatives, like it'd be the same as like those guys who went and like fucked around at the big building, whatever the fuck it's called. What's it called?
Which one are you talking about? I'm
You
sorry.
know, that was that insurrection thing Freddie recently.
Oh, at the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's probably not many of those guys.
no,
There is not many of them at all.
that was another thing that was totally bullshit, dude. And I'm not afraid to talk my mind, speak my mind about it at all either. But it was
Before we get into
totally
this, Kenneth,
theatrics.
before we get into this, do you mind if I ask where you lean?
I lean, you know, independent. Ron Paul is a huge, hero of mine. He was a Texas congressman for over 30 years, which is a consistent voting record for the people and for the Constitution. I stand by the Constitution and the things that built this country that we
So what, like
founded on.
center right
And
libertarian
center
kind of
libertarian.
stuff?
Yep. Yeah, dude.
We're on the
Because
same
the
page.
left and
High
the
five.
right. Yeah, high five, dude. The left and the right don't matter. It's the same wings on the same bird. And it's controlled
Sure.
opposition. And I think a lot more people are starting to see that. It's like
Mm.
uh, people are just like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense, and controlled opposition. You know,
At the very least, open-minded people are seeing it past it at this point, because you know if you've talked to a human being, you know you realize that this shit you see on the news is bullshit.
oh, for sure.
Like
Absolutely.
even when like the anti-mask shit goes on, they'll the media will put it in a way it looks like there's thousands of them. Realistically, like how many is there?
Yeah. See
You know?
that insurrection crap though at the Capitol building. I saw it going on. I remember what going on, and I'm just like, wow, this is all theatrics. Every piece of it was theatrics.
It was just
And
like a bunch of rednecks broke in.
yeah,
It was crazy, but
it was.
like, they shouldn't have done it. In fairness, but it wasn't as bad as it was being made out to be.
Yeah, but there's video clips around. They're being let in. The gates were being open. They were being told to come in, and the video cameras were going. And
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to get into this too much.
yeah. Let's not dodge that
Yeah,
bullet.
yeah, for sure, man.
But anyway, going back, I do love your carpet back there, or your not your carpet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate that. Trying to get the studio set up a little bit. And
Mm. Yeah, I like what you got going on. What kind of mic you got there?
that's a good question. I don't really know. I have a Yamaha analog mixer. I just kind of got the setup off a friend. at a really fair price, and we kind of threw it together and just rolling with it. Does it sound all right? Is it
Oh, it sounds sexy.
okay?
Sounds fucking good.
Cool, man.
Yeah. I wish I sounded as good as you.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
There you go. How long you been doing this anyway? You seem pretty professional.
Oh man, like a month. You're like my fifth or sixth guest, I want to say.
I'm honored. I'm honored I'm this early in.
Dude, I'm honored to have you on the show. I'm that you take time out of your day, to come on means a lot to me.
I look, what I do at this point is I talk all day. I do podcasts. I do this. Even trying to voice acting at the moment. That's a bit weird, but
Right.
it's a muscle I'm trying to build up.
Trying to build for sure, man. Well, I'm gonna definitely hit subscribe on your channel. You have a YouTube channel too, or just a podcast?
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, we even have a Twitch. I think my partner in crime, Thomas, he's streaming on Twitch right now.
See, that's something I haven't checked out is Twitch. I haven't done
We didn't until about 2 days ago.
right.
3.
So do you guys isn't Twitch just for video games, or is it like
Well, no, there's the biggest section on Twitch is just chatting, which means people just talking to their audience. Podcast. What me and you are doing.
really? I have to check.
Well, not all our podcasts. Some are like game night with fans.
Okay.
But the biggest section is just people talking. I love that. I love that.
Really? I might have
Power
to
of
check that out.
conversation.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've talked about this on a couple of my past episodes that I really feel like there's a free speech awakening going on right now.
Because so many want to
throughout the world.
challenge what it means. Like the idea of hate speech
Right.
isn't free speech. That's pretty out there.
Right. And it's just there's an awakening going on. People want to have their voices be heard. People want to talk about, what they're into, what they're passionate about. And it's a great thing. It really is. I think podcasting is just a great thing. Connecting, networking with people is a great thing. And I love it, dude. I might have to check that Twitch out. Let me ask you, have you heard of Theta Token? Going back to cryptocurrency a little bit, Theta Token. Theta Network they're building a platform of decentralization that's like Twitch, that is a streaming platform. It's very similar. And I was just curious if you had heard of that or not.
Not something I've heard of, but cool. If it works, it works.
Yeah, whatever, for sure. All right.
The more platforms that are out there, the better to help creators do what they want to do.
For sure.
It's rough to find yourself on the wrong boat.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more. Man.
Like I even had a guy on yesterday. I do like a live stream podcast every now and then, and I had a guy who does Facebook gaming. I didn't know there was many of them, but apparently there's a big community of them. He's one of the biggest guys on that. Yeah.
Really? I did not know that either. What kind of games was he like into? Was he into like?
Well, I think this guy's a future in commentary. His name's Joey Metalman. And okay, so I consider having him on. He's really good. But Joey Metalman. He does WrestleMania commentary. But
okay.
It exploded. Like he went from like a couple hundred views to 400,000 views per thing when he switched to WrestleMania because people found his commentary hilarious. I think this guy has a future in actual wrestling commentary or MMA commentary because he's into both and he's up there.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna look him up and invite him on the show.
Are you into combat sports?
A little bit. Yeah. Over the winter, I started setting up a gym down in my basement, trying to get active. I turned 30 in January, and I was like, man. I'm not going to sit around and get fat throughout my 30s and roll into my 40s, completely out of shape. So I hung a bag up and I got some gloves and I was hitting it for a while. Then the podcast thing kind of started to take shape and take form, and I haven't done much of it. But what about you? Are you, into hitting the bag, into MMA fighting at all, or?
That's where I started. My first sport ever was kickboxing.
Really?
So I don't remember how far I got, but I know in terms of my belt, I got to my purple belt with a brown tip. So I didn't make the brown belt, so I quit.
See, I made the brown belt, and that was as far as I got.
And I did jiu-jitsu afterwards. I didn't get a belt in jiu-jitsu. I did it because they didn't really do belts, didn't do it like properly. They were just kind of like a bunch of guys rolling around in the same facility, same gym. But yeah, I left. Well, I guess martial arts have been like my entire sporting career, because archery is a martial art, like it or not. Uh, so
For
I
sure.
started in kickboxing, made my way to archery. Wasn't feeling archery, kind of went to jiu-jitsu, but went back to archery. So
Hey, why not do both? You know?
because I'm a guy with limited time.
Right, for sure. I
You
completely
got to
understand.
balance a girlfriend, got to balance. I'm still in college. Got to balance, a podcast, streaming, doing
Right,
this, trying to voice act, and then trying to build relationships with other people in, I guess the field that we're both in, entertainment.
for sure, man. Definitely. Dude, I completely understand. I've been blessed to have a opportunity of change in my work schedule, which is going to allow me to do a little bit more of the podcasting and kind of do my own thing. But dude, it definitely can get, it can definitely feel like the plate is full sometimes, you know what I mean, with
Yeah,
activities and things going on and trying to juggle
but that's when
relationships.
you feel the most successful, though.
For sure.
If
Yeah.
you got a full plate, you're doing shit right.
Right. Totally
But
agree.
then you got to fine tune that plate to make sure the right stuff's on it.
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. As long as you're doing something you love, if
you'll be all
if
right.
you'd be all right, dude. And that's kind of thing about this whole YouTube channel. Some videos I get like 2 or 3 views. I don't even care, dude. Like I'm just enjoying there's some nights I'll sit back here and I'll just,
Yeah,
be making a video and
but dude, you have to learn about it. Like you got two, then you get three, you get four, you got 10. Oh my
yep.
god, you got 10. I got
Yeah.
40. Holy fuck. Just
Yeah, I know. And
gotta keep going.
that's what it's about, dude. Just doing what you love. But I'm definitely excited to start doing some archery and getting into it this spring and going out.
Call me.
I told my dad,
Tell me all about it.
I told my dad he's got some property. I said, Dad, I'm coming out this spring and I'm gonna start cutting down some trees and come back. He's like, well, hold on a second. And I got him, talked into kind of prepping an area to bring the deer in and bed in and, create habitat for them and really get into the sport.
I know, like you're a spiritual guy. Would you ever consider trying to make a bow and then hunting with it? Because that's a
Absolutely,
fucking
dude.
journey.
Absolutely. Where would you recommend starting with that?
You
Like
could
what?
do with anything. Well, you can make out of it. If you get a couple twigs, you can make a bundle bow. That's the simplest kind of bow, like some of the most primitive shit out there.
Right.
But you can make it with a normal stick. Now, I'm not an expert in bow making. I've never had the opportunity, but I get the methods. Um, you know, I tell you what, I recommend a friend to you. He's Ireland's only bow maker, and he makes longbows specifically.
All right. What's his name?
Jack Pinson.
Jack Pinson.
His Instagram is Living Longbows. I feel like I'm plugging everything today. I'm just trying to like help you.
What is
Like
it?
get the right kind of guy.
Living. What's his Instagram?
Living Longbows.
Okay.
He is a talented motherfucker.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna have to check him out, dude. That's freaking awesome.
But man, bow making is just such a insane thing. It is just, and then getting to use it, and then hunting with it. That is just
Hell yeah. And
like
harvesting a deer or something with it.
it's like the same feeling you get from like making a salad out of your own like garden,
For
but
sure.
like amplify that by 10 because you get a juicy fucking steak out of it.
You're right. For sure. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would totally be into that. I wouldn't even know what kind of wood to start, but I'll tell you what, man, you can find a YouTube video for anything. That's what I love about YouTube.
dude. There
You
you go.
know,
Yeah,
like I've always wanted to learn how to cowboy whistle and you know, without fingers or anything. And I learned how to do it by watching some YouTube videos, man. The other day at work,
you hardly want to show me, do you?
you want me to do it?
If you're able, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I can't. I totally can, but it might be loud. I have to turn my mic down a little bit.
That's really cool. That's
Hey,
really
thanks,
cool.
man. Thank you. I appreciate that. If I had a
Yeah,
bottle of
practice
water,
that.
I could really get it fine tuned in a little bit better. But
I like it. I
hey,
like what you're doing.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, dude. So, are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Could I follow you? I'm gonna follow your podcast.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm Instagram under Ger _Archer. So like GERD_Archer or Awfully Irish Podcast.
Okay, sweet, man.
Now, Awfully Irish Podcast, obviously not just me. So if you want me, you know where to find me.
Awesome, dude. I'm gonna follow you on Instagram and
I appreciate it. I'll follow
subscribe
you back.
to your channel. And dude, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna tie this up because I just got home from work, right? Like literally before we did this show, and I gotta wrap some things up with my pets.
I appreciate you making time for me.
Dude, absolutely. You know, it's an honor. It was an absolute honor to have you come on the show, and I look forward to possibly having you on the show again. Or
I tell you what, seriously, no shitting around. I'd love to. You're
awesome,
a cool guy.
dude. Awesome, dude. Hey, man, I appreciate that so much. And for everybody out there listening, I will have these links in the description below if you wish to hear his podcast. If you wish to find him on Instagram, they'll be in the description below. Thank you so much, Ger, for coming on the show. This is
Love you, man.
Conversations
Thanks for having me on.
with Kenny.